Hi, how are you guys?
This is so exciting to me. I'm great. I'm so happy that you're not seeing him in a competition setting. This is like just us being us. But I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm getting us in the habit of saying we're great.
We're great.
As a unit. How was your guys' day? You asked me that earlier.
Our day has been good. Yeah. This is us just seeing each other for the first time today. I just got off of work. He just got home from work.
It's a little nutty right now, but
it's busy.
Good.
I have to know everything. So are you living bi-coastally, Tayshia, and then you're staying in his apartment? How is that working?
Yeah, I mean, I can't even find words for it. It's been a lot. It's been very hard just because it doesn't even feel like home going back to Newport anymore because I feel like I'm so invested in like him being here and then this being our place. You see that? I said our place.
Our, yeah, that's a thing.
But this just being like our place that doesn't even feel like home anymore. Like this feels like home. So it's nice to be bi-coastal because I like to have a place out there. But I think this is reigning supreme here.
Making it your own. Yeah. Zach, because I just moved in with my boyfriend very quickly during the pandemic. How has it been bringing a woman into your space? Because it was a little interesting for my boyfriend at first.
Yeah, I'm sure. I want to hear about this.
First off, congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you.
We all deserve that. I was very single for a good amount of time, so there's definitely been some adjustments, but it's all for the greater good, I think I knew that walking into this experience, that if I was to come home, there was a moment when I left my apartment, wow, I could actually be coming home in a relationship. I felt like the chances were small just based on numbers alone, but here we are, and it's been good so far. So
it's good that you were open to the changes, because I feel like a lot of people go on that show and they're like, my life's going to change. I'm going to have a lot of followers, but they don't think about I could be bringing a human home into my life and potentially into my apartment. So I'm glad that you had that mindset going into it.
He thinks about it all. It doesn't surprise me that he considered that being a possibility. I don't think everybody does.
No.
Like how you were just saying.
I want to go back to also the beginning for both of you, because I'm always interested to hear about what made you want to go on the show. Tayshia, I know your reasons from meeting you for that process, but Zach, I want to hear why did you want to go date on national television? You've been married before, you've had relations before, you've seen it. Why this process? And then Tayshia, I have a separate question for you on that.
Man, I think just going back, it's crazy, first of all, that it's March and it's been a year since this whole pandemic has started. So for me, I had never given it any thought, right? The world was, for the most part, new to me, aside from my sister and mom talking about it from time to time and catching it because I'm in an earshot. But when I got the first phone call or whatever it was, I really just had this kind of attitude of we're in the middle of this pandemic. There's really not a lot going on. And I think it's time for me to take a shot and take a risk. And I believe that to a certain degree, not to go down some spiritual hole, but I believe that the world kind of talks to us in weird ways. And that was one of those moments where I was what am I going to do if I don't do this? And here we are. So
exactly. It's one of those what if things. And especially when things kind of fall into your lap like that. Did you prep by watching the show at all before? Or are you just kind of let's see what happens?
I did when we were in the hotel prior to getting going, there was these goat episodes, greatest ever. So I watched, I don't even know what, but I got a sense of kind of what happens. I was terrified of that night one stuff. That's all I could really I didn't really ever get past okay, you get out of this limo, what do you do? You're just thrown in
so, you watched a couple of night one episodes?
Yeah, but right, so there was a couple nights, and then there's the greatest of all time that they had released or come out during the quarantine.
Yeah. And those are intense because it's an entire season wrapped into an hour special. So you got to see the extreme emotions all in 1 hour. So I'm sure you were what exactly did I do?
What the hell did I just do?
When I met Tayshia, it was definitely the first time I met Tayshia, though. And whatever I watched, I never saw you. Yeah, no.
That's interesting.
I like that you didn't, though, almost, because then it made it feel a little bit more real. At
least me too.
Me. Yeah.
That's what I always say. I'm it feels really good walking into this situation when nobody knows you, because there's no you're not on a pedestal. It's just like you don't have to, live up to any expectations that they may possibly have for you, or like live in this like light that they might think you are and like disappoint them. So it was very refreshing.
That's true.
I remember like on one-on-one, I was so nervous to tell her that I was divorced, right? Because I literally knew nothing about her.
Yeah.
So I told her, like, or you told me, whatever it was, I was like, me too. And then it was just done. I was like,
that would have been helpful.
It was to have the research. I mean, it's almost like a real dating experience then in that regard, which is nice. Because at any point, if you can feel like you're in a real world situation, it's very nice, especially in that very unreal situation.
Yes.
Tayshia, before you became the Bachelorette, you were, as you told me, you were eating a donut in your bed and you got the phone call. So like, what was that like for you, and how did you wrap your mind around you getting that phone call, eating a donut, to like cut to a week later, you're in a bikini shot, like slow motion as the Bachelorette? Like, what was that experience like?
I mean, I didn't say yes right away. And it was something that I really had to consider. Number one, like being back on TV is also a very stressful thing, because I mean, like we open ourselves to so much criticism, and I was finally in a place to where like I didn't really have to worry about that as much anymore. Like we had been off TV for quite some time now, and it's like those like haters kind of die down. You start just like getting to the rhythm of like what your new normal life is.
Yeah.
And that was very well established for me at that point. So kind of doing it again was really kind of scary, because I feel like I did have a little PTSD from some of the situations that I was put in, but I had to really just share it with my family and really think like, okay, what's my checklist? Am I ready for this? And that was like a hard yes. Like, am I done being single? 1000% yes. And then, do I really think that, I can put myself in the position to be super vulnerable and like try to be a role model for people? And that was a yes. So,
I mean, no one had any doubts that you were made for that role. And I think you literally made not only the season, but also everyone's jobs that were working on the show. Cause I was able to like talk to people and everyone was like, oh, it's so nice. She's just like bubbly and blah, blah, blah. And like the guys have lit up. You just like kind of made the season. Did you have like fear around it at all? Like, how did you get your mindset together for like, I'm the Bachelorette now, this is my season now. Like, how did you shift to being like, to come into that role for you?
I didn't really think I had to like really change my mind. It was just like, I'm just going to go be me. Yeah. The thing is like the first thing I wanted to do was talk to all of production. And that's what I did do. Like, I had a conversation, was like, you guys, like, I love you guys as a family and as a team. Like, I know what you can do. And I know you guys have been there for me. And I have so much respect for all of you. And I thank you for wanting to continue to be here and doing this journey with me. So like, let's kick ass. Like, let's do this and hold me accountable. You know what I mean? So I think once I knew that I had talked to everybody and everybody was excited and I was excited, I was just like, I'm just gonna be myself. Like, there's no point in trying to be anything else. That does not go over very well. And it always comes out.
Yes.
So I didn't really think like I shift my mindset. It was just like, I'm about to go date 20 guys. Like, let's go.
Hell yeah. I mean, look at it now. So it all made sense.
Yeah.
Zach, for you being on the show, like, how did you because you were one of the guys that was very chill. Like, you had your sneakers. You were always like, you didn't really have to be like the center of the attention, but you just had like the confidence about you. How did you maintain that as you went through the season? And like, how did you, it seemed like you really focused on just your relationship with Tayshia. Like, how did you manage that? Because it's hard. I've been there. She's been there.
Literally.
I don't know. I mean, I honestly, I think a couple things were working in my favor. One is like my lack of knowledge or exposure to this world previously, I think was really helpful, right? Like, if I was going to do it, I was going to do it with the right intentions, which was I was going to go there and try and meet someone, And I think like when Claire left and then obviously Tayshia walked in, it really did shift some things because I was very confused. And I'm very grateful because I feel like I got a little bit of a dry run. Like, I was like the first, however long I was there, I was like a deer in headlights. I didn't know what the hell was going on, And so by the time my beautiful fiance showed up, I was like, okay. And I was ready to really just get the most out of the experience. And I don't know. I mean, the other thing I feel like I had going for me, which is kind of hilarious, and I've said this a couple of times, is there's a certain element of the whole like bubble that was like rehab, and I've been to rehab a couple of times. So like, it's like, all right, you're like in this one place, they throw a camera in front of your face, talk about your feelings, like meet some new people. So I was like, this feels kind of familiar.
Yeah. This is amazing. You're like, this is like a 12-step program. I got this. That's awesome.
It's so funny though, because like that's their journey. Isn't that so wild? Like ours was so different. Like for them, like that's what they know is like having 2 bachelorettes. Like, could you imagine if that was our thing?
No,
like,
I mean, I wouldn't have minded 2 different options.
But like it just would have changed absolutely everything.
Yeah. It would have, because you go in with all these plans or ideas or the thought of what you think it's going to go like, and then it's like blown up in the middle of it. Plus, you guys had the interesting season where you had to go home, like you were there, and then COVID, and then you didn't know if you were going to even have a season. So you guys were kind of just like whiplashed around. So
he wasn't part of that.
You weren't. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because there was that original cast, and then they started recasting, and he was part of the recast. So even if like I would have started out, I wouldn't have seen him.
That's so meant to be. Look at
that. Wild. I'm telling you. Oh my God, I'm so happy I'm doing this with you. I missed you.
I think we need this, like, I feel like we need cocktails, but we'll do that another time. To get deeper on that, like, did you guys know for each of you, when was the moment that you knew that you were in love? Because it's hard to figure that out.
I feel like it took me a little bit. When did you know?
It took you a little bit, huh?
Okay, relax. Yeah.
You had to date like a lot of you, so you were sad.
You didn't know night 1.
After night 1, I was 18 on the list of 20.
Stop it.
After night 1, I was 17 on the list of 16. 4 other guys hadn't even shown up yet.
Okay. You're putting so much shit right now. No, you weren't. Wait, when did you know?
I mean,
tell her everything.
The Ferris wheel, the one-on-one was.
You knew you were in love with me then?
I mean, that's when the emotion started to come to the surface.
Yeah, I agree. I think our one-on-one date was like when I first was like, hold up, like I had this guy like so wrong in my mind. Like I thought he was gonna hate that date.
Really? The Ferris wheel?
Because like no, the dressing up and doing the photo shoot.
Yeah.
I was like, he is not going to be about this. This is probably not going to go over well. And I was like, let's just see what happens. And honestly, he was so into it. Like his smile said everything. And I was like, wait, this dude is like super fun. And then like we bonded on the like divorce thing. And then we had just a great dinner. And then we went on a Ferris wheel. And definitely like feelings started to develop then 100%.
Yeah, that makes sense because when you bring a guy into a situation where you know he's not going to like, it's like a little uncomfortable. Like me taking my boyfriend on a photo shoot, I'm like, this is going to suck, but I'll promise you we can do something fun after this. So yeah, I can understand where you're like, I don't know. But yeah, you just spending the time together is always what matters. Did you guys going into this experience, because both of you have had serious relationships before, and did you think about what you were looking for, or like what qualities were you looking for in a person, and what did you find out of each other after this process?
I mean, obviously you have a sense, or I had a sense of what I'm looking for in a partner, right? And I saw a lot of those qualities in Tayshia throughout my experience. And I'm not just talking about my direct one-on-one interaction with her, but just being able to watch her interact with production and the other guys and addressing us at maybe a cocktail. And like, I saw her strength. I saw her smile, I saw her kindness. I saw the way that she treated other people, which was huge. And like, we talked about early on, like giving each other, your partner, the ability in a relationship to have that freedom to go shine your, shine your light in the work that you want to do. And for me. And so like, I felt like, in a lot of those early conversations, I got the confirmation that I was looking for in terms of being on the same wavelength. So,
yeah.
And I think like I've definitely talked to you about this. It's just like I want someone that's, I don't know, gonna choose me, but like also is super ambitious and like is sturdy and solid and not trying to be something that they aren't. And I mean, there was just so many small little indicators that I saw him just like not trying to like fall in line with everybody else, and also like the fact is he is really like established with his own job and whatnot, and that's so important to me just because I also want to create that. And so it helps when you have two people that think that way as opposed to someone that's like looking to you for everything, like whether it be your happiness and needing you to fulfill all of that. So it's just like, I think that was important to both of us. I feel like we both were trying to establish ourselves, and having someone that's like has the same mentality with you is like really important.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Zach, I will say you are definitely a rare breed for that show. I mean, that season, like you were one of a kind for that show. So I'm so happy that you were there.
Thank you, right?
Yes, thank you.
Yes. It's good to be a rare breed on that show because there's a lot
I gotta say though, and we were talking about this the other night because I was able to see some of the guys this past weekend, and again, just like Tayshia reinforcing how cool she is, like, yeah, go hang out with that, you know, like not just like whatever, like that was, I appreciated that, and I told you that. I hope you know that.
You do.
But there were some good dudes out there, and I mean that, like, there really were. So
insanely good.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell. You can't say that anymore. Take it back.
Insanely good.
You were just like as friends.
I ended up with you. This has been better than insanely good. Jesus.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, you can tell just by the conversations that were aired and that you got to see. Not only those conversations might happen, but they don't always get shown because you guys were just good, solid humans. Anyways, one of the main topics that you represented, Zach, and like you were so open about was your struggle with addiction and your recovery, and you were very open that without Tayshia and on TV. One, can you tell me about like how that was for you being so open like that? Because it's not easy to do. Two, for anyone that's like gone through recovery or struggled with addiction, can you just like give advice on like how to represent that in a couple and how you support each other for Tayshia and for Zach?
Of course. Yeah. I think to answer your first question, that's oftentimes a narrative, like that it's hard. And my truth is that it's actually not hard. And leading up to kind of the conversation when I knew I was going to be open with Tayshia about it, there were a lot of questions surrounding like, what are you going to do if she reacts this way? What are you going to do if she reacts that way? And my mindset going into that was basically, she needs to know this about me. I'm actually really proud of it. It's a big part of my life. It's also what I do for work. So if she takes issue with this conversation or doesn't have some compassion or ability to understand it, then like it's probably best that we kind of separate at this point, right? Like if there's an adverse reaction, which there wasn't, obviously she was so kind and gentle and just was amazing during that whole conversation. So I'm trying to change the narrative on that, like, because it's not hard, right? Like I want people to feel comfortable telling their story. And I think as a society, we're doing a better job, not just with that, but with a lot of things. And it's encouraging to see. You know, and your second question, like what to do in a relationship, you know, there's days where I can do a better job, you know, and share more with Tayshia, and I understand that. And there's days where, you know, maybe she's not understanding something about my core because she just doesn't know that piece of me yet, right? So just having that grace with each other. And honestly, Tayshia's been kind of like the role model for what this thing looks like. She asks questions, she cares, she does her reading, she understands, she's encouraging of it. So it's been all good so far, and just trying to eliminate the shame, you know, from the whole thing.
That's major. Thank you for sharing that. And thank you for calling me on that too, because it's true. There's vulnerability, but there's like power in that and owning that. And I like that you are reframing that for people. So thank you.
Thank you.
Tayshia, how do you?
Important.
Go ahead.
People like, I don't know, like find it so negative. And he's told me that since the very beginning. Like he's trying to change the narrative on that because it's not something you should be ashamed of. It's yeah, you like struggled a lot to get there, but it's something you should be proud of. Like you got over something and you're working on it daily. Like we all are, you know.
That's so true. Yeah, we all are going to go through things in some regard, some way. So it's just owning those things and then being open with your partner is major.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about the conversation between Zach and Tayshia's dad, because that's when you had me, Zach. That was the moment where I was like, shit, he's got it in the bag. Like, you better pick him.
What's up with Desmond? Let's get Desmond on the line.
Oh my God, no. He's so funny.
Desmond. So the conversation with Desmond, thank you for showing an example of an amazing man and like what women are all looking for, like someone that can have that conversation and hold their ground and like show what their looking for in a woman and what explaining that to a father, like that must have been, I don't want to say difficult, but like you have a lot of bravery around that. Like, what was that conversation like for you? And then Tayshia, what was that conversation watching for you? Because seeing like how he expressed his feelings for you, that's pretty deep. What was that experience like?
Well, first off, there was the lore of Desmond was running wild throughout Bachelor campus out there at La Quinta. Like, you got to meet this guy. He's gonna give you a couple rib shots and beat you up a little bit. But my experience is that he just loves his daughter and doesn't want to see her hurt. And it was important for me, not just in the conversation with him, but with her brothers and her mom. And I don't really remember what was aired, but to allude to the fact that like if I was going to remain around and it was going to be me at the end, I was going to seek their approval or at least permission to go forward with that, because no matter how we're falling in love, I'm a little bit of a traditionalist, and I believe that's an important conversation to have. I think that was definitely more nerve-wracking than telling you about my past.
It's so funny. I remember that day, like we were talking to each other before we walked in the room to see my parents. And I'm like, why are you so quiet? Like, why are you so stressed right now? Like, be yourself. It's fine. He's like, Tayshia, this is a big deal. I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't really know what was going on in his mind and all that kind of stuff. Like, it was like, honestly, it was so, it was above my head. I was just happy to see my family and introduce him to my family, but I didn't really think about the conversation he could have possibly had. And I mean, he was so much more calm, when we were saying goodbye. He's like, okay, guys, like, have a good day. You good, bro? Like, but watching it back, I mean, what's really cool is like everything that Zach said and what he promised to my dad and like his expectations for our relationship and what he wants in his future is like everything he's still doing now. You know what I mean? Like none of it was like some false idea or something that he was like hoping to achieve. Like it's been very true to him. And I think that's probably why we are so happy and like why we have such a good relationship, because like we both are dedicated to wanting something work out and real, and I feel like his promises that he's made to my dad is like, they're still standing, so it was intense to watch back. We'll say that because I had no idea what's going on. And he was like, yeah, we had a good conversation, but he's not going to tell me word for word what they said, even though I was like, what did he say? Like, tell me everything. But watching it back was really surreal because I watched it with my parents and my brothers and my best friend. So that was pretty cool to have everybody else see that, because there are moments like not everybody else has a privilege to see usually, That's
so true. Yeah. And you have them forever for when you want to look back one day. It's amazing.
Yeah. It was special.
So now you're engaged. You guys are happily ever after. What is it like now in the real world? And like, how are you managing this like private public life that you're both in? I'm sure, Zach, this is a different experience for you. Like, what is life like now for you guys?
I mean, life is now, it's hard because we're still like, pandemic, it's not what it normally would be, but I think we're making the best of it. It's our normal, and it's fun because we are making up for so much. I don't know if it's necessarily lost time, but we're having a lot of more intimate time that we like probably wouldn't have been able to have just because like life would have like took us in so many different kind of like places. Well, that was really hard for me to say. I don't know what was going on there. But traveling and work could have really separated us a little bit more than we would have liked. And right now, we kind of have to be at home and have some intimate dinners and be stuck in a house with each other when we're trying to quarantine and dealing with all the serious conversations. So I don't know. It's just real. It's just normal. At least I think as normal as it can be.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at just today, right? Like that's where we are is today in the now. We woke up together. We like joked around a little bit. We got ready for work. I left. I went to work. I was gone all day. There were some text messages and some phone calls and some support and some love. And I walked in the door, 20 minutes before this podcast started, and we caught up on our day. Like today felt very much like normal life. Like there was no show, there was no public, it was just me and her and our relationship, which is I will take that anytime I can get it.
Totally.
I mean, he even came home and was like, "You're a little serious right now." I'm like, "Yeah, it's because I've been working all day, and I have to like turn that off for a second." I'm like, "Hi, how are you?" You know, it's
You
just,
guys, they're just normal people like us. Look at that.
yeah.
I love it. So now that you guys have these platforms, you've gone on the show, you have each other, like what do you want to do individually, each of you, and I guess together with this platform, all of this, all of these experience you've had, like what do you hope to do with this stuff?
Well, I mean, for me, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing just in terms of my profession and what I want to do, which is to try to help people and, you know, make addiction recovery and mental health services available to everyone. And that's a long-term goal, and hopefully get to that place and, you know, starting to, you know, give Tayshia an opportunity to participate in that when she wants to give back and be a part of that. I welcome that. And then for her, I mean, I just, you know, I'm her biggest fan, and I think she's got the opportunity to do literally whatever the hell she wants. And
Yeah.
we're going to start to see that here, I think, soon. And as we move forward. So, you know, and then just outside of that, just knowing how precious the time is when it is just us and we get to slow down and just like really think about what's important. Because, you know, this whole idea of being on the show and falling in love is fleeting, right? Like what we have now is forever. So.
Damn.
That's cute.
Good.
Well, I think, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Like after being on the show, I mean, you do get presented with a lot of different opportunities, very different for everybody. But I mean, like even with Zach, he's having the opportunity to reach, you know, more people than he could have just on of his own. Like we all get opportunities. And for me, it's nice that I can follow like passions as opposed to, you know, what I was doing before. And, whatever that may look like. I kind of have my, you know, hands full right now, but I wouldn't want it any other way because I'm really just seeing what my heart gravitates towards. And that's doing a lot of things like hosting and being in the podcast world like you are, which has been super fun. But also it is important to like give back and be a part of, you know, helping other people that don't have the opportunity to that I do, like the opportunities that I do. So I don't know. I just feel like right now I'm living my life and I'm figuring out what I want to do. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel like I'm really close to achieving my like life's passion and my goal. So that's exciting.
Also, the sky's the limit for both of you, so I'm excited to watch. This is my last question, I promise. This is called Something to Share. So is there anything for each of you on your heart right now, something that you just want to like share or you think that would be good for someone to hear?
I love that.
Little or big, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go.
You know me, I got all my little things that I like, you know.
Yeah. You probably have to style. Go ahead.
No, I mean, like for me, it's always about like keep going, you know, like don't let other people define you. I don't know. I think in today's world, it's like Tayshia and I have talked about just like being dream chasers, and that's important. And like, I guess the thought I really had today, which is funny and kind of what you're talking about when I was in the restroom or whatever was happening, was just like
in the restroom.
Like I don't think, you know, taking a leave, whatever. Like I was just like thinking to myself, like in a moment, like the day slowed down, right? It's like I was thinking to myself.
You were talking to her in the restroom. It was right there. Okay, go.
The point was like, I had this thought of like how many people have these dreams or things that they want to do that they're just too scared to say out loud because they don't actually think people will believe them or take them seriously. And for me, I guess I just encourage everyone, even if it's just a friend or someone you're close to or your mom and dad or someone that you know will listen, to like share your dreams with other people. So at least like you're putting it out there.
I love that. It's kind of in line with like mine. It's and kind of like what I was just saying about like opportunities and whatnot. It's just like comparison can really like crush all of your dreams and really feel like you're so far back and you're really not. There's no right, you know, route or roadway to get to your final destination. It can look a lot of different ways. And I feel like we each are different and unique in our own way, and no one else can ever replicate that. And so I feel like if we really just let that shine and just have confidence in yourself, like you can literally conquer anything. Like things that I'm like looking at that are in front of me now is just things I would have loved to have the confidence in saying like, yeah, that's what I freaking want like years ago, but I never really did until now. And now look at where I am, you know what I mean? So it's having the confidence in yourself, but also the confidence to like help encourage your friends close by to you, like how he was just saying, and just following your dreams. I don't know. Does that sound so cliche?
No, it's not. It is. It's great. It's good advice. Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
Sid, I love you. This is so good. Wait, I have so much I want to ask. I want to grill you now.
I know. You want to meet my boyfriend?
Yes, where is he?
1 second. He's coming.
Okay.
Zach.
Good. How are you? It's nice to meet you guys.
And Nick, listen, I have seen you, honey. I've seen you all over Instagram. And when you first appeared on her Instagram, I was like, who is this little cutie? And I have been dying to meet you. And I'm just so happy the way that you make her happy. So thank you for doing that.
I appreciate that. I'm happy for you guys.
Yeah.
Obviously, we've been watching.
Yes.
We watched.
Yes.
So.
That's how we got
We have a reservation at 7:45. Come join us. We'll make it full. Where are you guys at?
We'll teleport to New York. I'd be happy to eat a New York meal right now for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So remember I told you my first time being in New York was to visit her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is that where you guys are right now? Are you in New York?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Upper West Side, right?
Not visit. Yeah.
You like it, Tayshia? You like Upper West Side?
Obsessed. I'm
So
obsessed.
cute.
I mean, I ventured out to a couple other little towns around here that I would like to probably live in, but like this is great.
Yeah.
She got me like, moving into my real adulthood, my, Upper West Side.
Upper West Side is like for adults. Downtown is probably where she's seen more of because that's like where the kids go. But Upper West Side.
Stop. This is.
Yeah.
Wait, where are you guys?
Cincinnati.
We're in Ohio.
That's right.
Wow.
I'm in the suburbs.
That's crazy.
So exciting out here in the
Yeah.
Midwest.
Yeah.
Everything's
How is
going
it
on.
going though? Everything's good?
Good.
Yeah.
We have a dog. We live together.
Yeah.
So grown up, you've remodeled your bedroom. I've been watching.
watching.
I don't want to talk about it. My entire house is completely different.
His jersey. I'm sure you're doing the same thing as Zach, but his jersey's downstairs. That was in our bedroom.
Oh my gosh.
I literally lived like a 12-year-old boy, basically.
Well, same with him at times. Like I was just like, do you have a pot? Like, do you have how are we doing this exactly? So it's slow. It's a slow transition, but we're getting there.
Yeah, you can't overwhelm them.
Yeah, you can't.
One pillow at a time.
But you guys should really make it out here.
No,
Yeah.
If you ever do, you always have us to call on and say hello and grab dinner with. So
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, we'll definitely make it up to New York because you have work up there and
Yeah.
I have friends up there and I have you guys. So I'm excited to come back.
that'd be great.
Love it.
All right.
Well, stay healthy, and I'm so happy we were able to do this, and I'm so happy I was finally able to meet you.
I know, I'm happy as well.
Don't you do anything wrong, because I will find you.
Don't worry about it. I won't. I promise.
He's good. He's got a lot of eyes on him. He's fine.
Yeah.
That's
My
good.
parents would literally disown me. They're like,
Well, then that's good.
This is your last shot. All right, bud.
Well, tell your parents hi and thank you for me in that regard.
All right, I will.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Love you so much. Good to
Love you
see
guys.
See you
you.
guys. Nice
See you
fun.
later.
Yeah.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.